Hey everyone, I am David.
And I'm Anna. Welcome back to Learning English Together.
Today's topic is one that's close to home for all of us, learning and education. Classes, teachers, study habits, and what to say when you're completely lost.
Stay until the end. The last section has a phrase that almost no textbook teaches, but every student who's worked on a group project absolutely needs.
Anna, I signed up for an online cooking class last month. Totally outside my comfort zone.
Oh, interesting. How did it go?
The first session was fine, but in the second one the instructor started going really fast, and I completely lost track.
That's so common, especially online, where you can't just raise your hand and interrupt.
Exactly. What's the right way to ask the teacher to slow down or repeat something?
The most natural phrase is, "Could you go over that one more time?" It's polite and very direct.
Go over, meaning explain or review.
Right. Go over means to review or walk through something step by step. Could you go over the instructions again? Works in any class.
I also didn't understand a technical term the instructor used. I felt embarrassed to ask.
Never be embarrassed. You say, "I'm not familiar with that term. Could you clarify?"
Could you clarify? That sounds very professional.
It is. Teachers love it, actually. It shows you're engaged, not just daydreaming.
What if you missed a whole session?
Then you email and say, "I missed last week's class. Is there a recording available, or could you point me to the key materials?"
Point me to the key materials. That's a great phrase. Efficient and respectful of the teacher's time.
If you know how to ask for clarification, request a repeat, and catch up on missed content, you can navigate any class in English with confidence. Quick recap. 5 phrases from that section. The first one is go over, to review or explain something step by step.
For example, before the exam, can we go over Chapter 5 one more time? I'm still confused about a few parts.
Repeat after me. Go over. Go over. Next, could you clarify? A polite request for a clearer explanation.
For example, could you clarify what you mean by active learning? I want to make sure I understand it correctly.
Repeat after me. Could you clarify? Could you clarify? Third, outside my comfort zone. Doing something unfamiliar or challenging that feels a little scary.
For example, speaking in front of the whole class is really outside my comfort zone, but I'm working on it.
Repeat after me. Outside my comfort zone. Outside my comfort zone. Fourth, lost track. To lose your focus or understanding of where you are in a lesson or conversation.
For example, the lecture moved so fast that I completely lost track by the 20-minute mark.
Repeat after me. Lost track. Lost track. And fifth, point me to direct someone toward a resource or piece of information.
For example, I missed the orientation. Could you point me to the schedule and the course materials?
Repeat after me. Point me to. Point me to.
Okay, let's talk about actually studying. Because taking notes and reviewing, that's where the real vocabulary gap is for a lot of people.
For sure. I think the most common question is, how do you talk about your study routine in English?
Right? I always struggle to describe how I study. It sounds weird when I translate directly from my first language.
So, natural ways to say it. I tend to study in short bursts, meaning short focus sessions.
Short bursts, I like that. So, I study in 30-minute bursts, means 30 minutes at a time.
Exactly. The opposite is I prefer long study sessions, sitting down for 2 or 3 hours at a stretch.
I'm definitely a short burst person. What about taking notes?
You'd say, I jot down the key points. Jot means to write quickly and formally.
Jot down. Great verb. What about when a concept is finally clear after being confusing?
It finally clicked. That's the one. I reread the chapter, and it finally clicked.
Clicked, like a switch turning on.
Exactly that image. And when you're struggling, I'm having trouble wrapping my head around this.
Wrapping my head around. That means understanding something difficult?
Yes. I can't quite wrap my head around the grammar rule means I'm finding it hard to understand.
Funny story. I used it finally clicked with my teacher and she actually smiled and said that's exactly right.
Because at IS right, it's how every native speaker describes that moment of understanding. Use it freely.
If you can say you study in short bursts, jot down key points, and that something finally clicked, you sound like a natural student.
Quick recap. 5 phrases from that section. The first one is study in short bursts, to study in focused, brief sessions rather than one long stretch.
For example, I can't focus for more than 40 minutes at a time. I study in short bursts and take 5-minute breaks.
Repeat after me. Study in short bursts. Study in short bursts. Next, jot down, to write something quickly and informally, usually key points.
For example, during the lecture, I jot down anything the professor emphasizes or writes on the board.
Repeat after me. Jot down. Jot down. Third, it finally clicked, the moment something that was confusing suddenly becomes clear.
For example, I read the explanation 3 times and then it finally clicked. Now it makes total sense.
Repeat after me. It finally clicked. It finally clicked. Fourth, wrap my head around, to try to understand something complicated or unfamiliar.
For example, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how the subjunctive works in English. It's tricky.
Repeat after me. Wrap my head around. Wrap my head around. And fifth, add a stretch, doing something continuously without a break.
For example, I can read for about an hour at a stretch before I need to get up and move around.
Repeat after me. At a stretch. At a stretch.
Let's talk about one of the most intimidating situations in English education. Actually talking to your teacher or professor, one-on-one.
Office hours, after class, via email. All slightly different registers.
What's the right opening for an email to a professor?
Dear Professor Name, I hope this email finds you well. That's the gold standard opening.
I hope this email finds you well. I see that everywhere. It feels a bit formal, though.
It is formal, and that's right for professors. For a more casual instructor, hi name, I have a quick question about. Works perfectly.
What if you want to ask for an extension on an assignment?
You say, I wanted to ask if there's any flexibility on the deadline for the assignment.
Flexibility on the deadline. That's so much better than can I submit it late?
Much better. It frames it as a question, not a demand. And you follow it with a brief, honest reason.
What about after a class? Approaching the teacher in person.
Do you have a moment? I had a question about today's lesson. Short, respectful, and it checks if they're available.
Do you have a moment? I use that all the time now. Word for anyone, not just teachers.
Exactly. Colleagues, managers, neighbors. It's universally polite.
One more. What do you say when a teacher's feedback was genuinely helpful?
That feedback was really useful. Thank you. Simple, sincere, and teachers remember students who say it.
Do you have a moment and any flexibility on the deadline? Those two alone will carry you through almost any teacher interaction.
Quick recap. 6 phrases from that section. The first one is, I hope this email finds you well, a standard formal opening for emails to teachers or professionals.
For example, Dear Professor Lee, I hope this email finds you well. I'm writing about next week's assignment.
Repeat after me. I hope this email finds you well. I hope this email finds you well. Next, flexibility on the deadline, a polite way to ask if a due date can be extended.
For example, I've been dealing with a family matter this week. Is there any flexibility on the deadline for the essay?
Repeat after me. Flexibility on the deadline. Flexibility on the deadline. Third, do you have a moment? A polite check before asking someone a question or starting a conversation.
For example, do you have a moment? I just wanted to ask one quick question about the reading assignment.
Repeat after me. Do you have a moment? Do you have a moment? Fourth, office hours, the set times when a professor or teacher is available to meet with students.
For example, I'm struggling with a project. I think I'll go to her office hours on Thursday to get some feedback.
Repeat after me. Office hours. Office hours. Fifth, that feedback was really useful, a sincere way to thank someone for helpful comments on your work.
For example, I read through your notes on my essay. That feedback was really useful. I can see exactly what to fix.
Repeat after me. That feedback was really useful. That feedback was really useful. And sixth, register, the level of formality in language, whether casual or professional.
For example, in a text to a friend, casual register is fine. In an email to a professor, you need formal register.
Repeat after me. Register. Register.
Last section, group projects, possibly the most stressful part of any course.
In every language.
So true. What's the vocabulary you need when you're working with classmates or coworkers on a shared task?
First, assigning work. Who wants to take the lead on the introduction?
And if you want to volunteer, I can handle that part. Handle means take care of, manage.
The phrase I use constantly in group work. Let's divide it up. Meaning, let's split the task between everyone.
What about when someone's not pulling their weight?
Then you say, carefully, I think we need to redistribute the workload a bit. That's the professional way to raise it without blaming one person.
Redistribute the workload. Much smoother than you're not doing enough.
And when the group disagrees on direction, can we align on this before we move forward?
Align on this. That's the phrase I've heard in every work meeting.
It means reach agreement, get on the same page. I want to make sure we're aligned before we submit.
And the phrase you said at the top, the one no textbook teaches?
I'll loop you in. It means I'll include you in the email thread or conversation, so you stay informed.
I'll loop you in on the group chat. I'll loop you in when I hear back from the professor.
It signals respect. You're not leaving anyone out. And it's used constantly in professional and academic English.
Take the lead, let's divide it up, and I'll loop you in. Those three phrases make you sound like the best group member in any class.
Quick recap. 5 phrases from that section. The first one is take the lead, to take primary responsibility for a task or project area.
For example, since you know the most about this topic, would you be willing to take the lead on the research section?
Repeat after me. Take the lead. Take the lead. Next, divide it up to split a task fairly among the people involved.
For example, we have 3 sections to write. Let's divide it up, 1 section per person, and meet on Friday.
Repeat after me. Divide it up. Divide it up. Third, redistribute the workload, to rebalance who is responsible for what, especially when things feel uneven.
For example, some of us have more tasks than others right now. Can we redistribute the workload before the deadline?
Repeat after me. Redistribute the workload. Redistribute the workload. Fourth, align on, to reach agreement or get on the same page about something before moving forward.
For example, before we each start writing, let's align on the main argument so the sections fit together.
Repeat after me. Align on. Align on. And fifth, loop you in, to include someone in a conversation or email thread so they stay informed.
For example, I heard back from the professor about our topic. I'll loop you in on the email so everyone sees the feedback.
Repeat after me. Loop you in. Loop you in. That's all for today. Try using "it finally clicked" the next time something makes sense after being confusing. It always gets a smile.
If this helped, hit like and follow. Next episode, we're covering neighborhood and community English, how to introduce yourself to a new neighbor and ask about local services.
See you then.